Howdy folks, Glenn with the Cactus Atlas in California, up in the Sierra Nevada. I'm camping up here tonight, and I'm gonna share some campground life with you, and then tomorrow morning we're hitting the road, and I'm driving up to Kings Canyon National Park where I'm camping there, and I'm gonna document the day trip driving from here to there. It's the day before, it's the afternoon before, sun's starting to go down, and I'm enamored by this campground that I'm staying in, so I wanna share a little bit with you. This might rank as my favorite campground of the year, and I'm gonna be doing an informational on it on Camp View, my other channel. So you wanna go over there if you want information about camping here. Here we're just gonna fiddle around a bit, and I'm gonna show you some cool stuff. So the cool thing about this national forest campground is it has sequoia trees in it. I don't know if they're younger, some of them are pretty big, but not as large as some of the ones you see in the national park, but compared to the regular pine trees in here, they're giants. I'll walk you over and show you a couple other ones here. I'm not doing a full campground tour, but camp site 12 is next to mine, which is 13. And then this person just left. They just packed up and left. So I don't know if they reserved it so they could stay the day and then leave in the afternoon, which sucks for other people because now other people won't be able to camp here probably. But anyway, look at this. I assume this is an old sequoia with another big one, maybe the biggest one here, the thickest one here, the most massive. I don't know, that's a big one. Wow. And you know the coolest thing? My campsite, site 13, has a sequoia right in it. I don't know if you noticed it already. Look at that. There's Slim, and there's the tree for scale. Can you tell how big it is? And it is bear country, so you got your bear lockers. So anyway, this is something next level for me. I never, living in Phoenix, Arizona and camping in the desert all the time, this is a rare treat, except for some mosquitoes. That sucks, I'm not used to that, but a sequoia, like right here in my campsite. But wait, there's more. Let me walk you down to my campsite. You could probably hear the what's more. Some campsites in here are right on a nice stream. So tonight, I'm gonna get to sleep. That's my tent right here with that all night. Wow. There's this little nature trail I found back here, and there's some interesting buildings back there too. It's not far, and there's a couple sequoias and a really pretty scene. So I'm gonna walk back there, and while we do, I'll tell you about my plans for tomorrow and what we're doing. This stop is just in between Joshua Tree National Park and my journey up further north into the Sierra. It's a pretty long drive from Joshua Tree to like, I'm north of Kernville, maybe an hour or so north, maybe an hour past the Trail of 100 Giants, which we've been to. Sorry, there's mosquitoes, so I'm swatting at them. But I've never been this far in before, and I am in love. So in this video, what I have in store for tomorrow is we have to drive a few hours to get up to Kings Canyon, and I plotted a few stops in the way, including a couple near the entrance gate in Kings Canyon of some cool stuff. I'll be making separate videos all in that area in Sequoia National Park. This is the entryway, my first few steps into the mountains. So just a quick overnighter, one night. So I'm not really doing a full campground episode here. I'm short on time, and I gotta go to bed early. Can anybody spot any fish in here? I imagine they would have trout, wouldn't they? I haven't seen anybody fishing back here, so I don't know if that's allowed or not. So I wonder, is this some kind of historic structure? Could be. There doesn't seem to be anybody home, and the trail goes this way. There's electricity here, but what are these? I don't know. Some kind of guest cabins, and there's more. They just keep going back. They're all up and down the stream, so I need to look into this. This seems like something, Amy, you might like. All right, I'm gonna go back and start thinking about, let's see what time it is. Only 6. I'm ready for bed almost. Been getting up early, but between 8 and 9 is usually what I'm shooting for. And I'm probably gonna get up around 5, and that's when we're gonna pack up the tent. That usually takes me around an hour to get everything packed and the car organized. Sometimes I'll do it the night before. Not pack up the tent, of course, but do some other preparations, but we'll see. I am exhausted. Woo, I'll tell you why. You may have seen the video, and it might have been one of the ones we released recently, in fact, at Joshua Tree. I did this hike. For me, it was yesterday, late in the afternoon, before sunset, but not too far before sunset, to something called the Eagle Cliff Mine. And I don't know how in the video I portray it, but that was really hard for me physically, because I haven't really done anything like climbing a mountain in a long time. I used to climb mountains in Phoenix several times a week, and I've kind of let that go. And I made it to my destination, you saw, so I'm proud of myself. But you know, on the way back, I didn't throw up, but I felt really nauseous, I think, from just exerting myself so hard. And I feel good, and then I'll not feel so great. But today I just woke up and I hydrated. That's all I did last night. I wasn't hungry. I drank and drank water, and I drank water before it. It was hot in Joshua Tree. I was drinking water all day long, coconut waters, everything. And I'm still thirsty. I think I'm dehydrated. And I've just been sitting here kind of nursing myself. But that's okay, because I accomplished my goals from the day, which isn't for Cactus Atlas, it's for Camp View. I filmed a bunch of national forest campgrounds, Sequoia National Forest, heading up from the Kernville area all the way up here. I didn't get every single one, but I got most of them. All right, like I said, I need to take care of me. I've been running hard from the moment I get up to when I go to bed, with no time for myself. Doing as much as I can during the day, and I hit a wall. I wasn't even gonna start this video tonight, but then I was like, you know what? That makes more sense. I was gonna do it in the morning when I was all packed up, but I figured, let's share some of this, because it's that good. And you can see where I've been hanging out a lot of the afternoon. I got here maybe about 3 o'clock or something like that, so I've been here like 3 hours. But I've just been sitting there, not doing anything, nothing to read, nothing to look at. I just had my head on the back of that and just zoning out. I needed that. It was very therapeutic. I talked with the campground host, and I wanted to share some information with you, because we'll walk down this way along the stream, since this campground is vacant. I asked him about that trail, and interestingly, those cabins that we filmed are, I think, World War II era, the brown ones, and it's on national forest land, so it has to stay within the family. And he said if the family didn't have it anymore, the Forest Service would just wipe them out, most likely. So it's not like they're not rentable properties. It's only the family that uses them, but he says they do use them. He did mention that trail that we were walking down kept going, and he said it's public land. So I was that's what I was kind of hesitant about, but it's still the national forest. So it's not like a landlocked private parcel. He said it's public land, and he said there's bigger sequoia even further back. But boy, oh boy, am I tired, and I'm liking these, and the sun just poked out. Let me show you. It's huge. I love when the sun like shimmers on them, and then you can see mine isn't really catching much rays right now. This is a beautiful time back here, isn't it? I'm just gawking at this place. This is one to come back to. I'm basically hitting all these national forest campgrounds and national park campgrounds and prioritizing those for camp view, and that's why I'm here. And I'm going to be staying and checking out a lot of these campgrounds, and a lot of them I just do a drive-through and don't really even get out and walk. Some of them I do, but I have already, on this trip, I don't know how many I filmed already, I'm losing count. It's in double digits. So this one is a weird one because that dead ends like right over there, but there's no way to turn around. Like I would literally have to drive down and like back up, but that site's 14 and 15, the last sites. And then there's like another, you could turn left or right when you come in, 15 sites total. I think 1 through 8's on the other side. And then you got half of them over here basically, or approximately half. But 13, like I was talking to the guy over there, he walked by and he said, he's like, that's a great site. I take it they're regulars here. But it's fantastic. Such an abrupt change. I went from Joshua Tree National Park to this, like in a day. It was like, I don't know how long of a drive. It was hours. It was 4 hours to get to my first campground shoot, and then probably a couple more easily to get here and hit all the other campgrounds that I could along the way. But it was cool. Kernville is a cool area. I guess that Kern River down there, I really want to go back, but pardon me, these aren't mosquitoes, by the way, they're gnats. And I almost wish they were mosquitoes because these gnats don't seem to care about my bug spray. Anyway, Kernville seems really cool. It's a beautiful river. It just seems like kind of a party town. Do I have that right? I'm not sure. Because the campgrounds were kind of vacant because it's Sunday. I've driven through here on the 4th of July and that place was just wall to wall. So I don't know, you're probably seeing bugs flying from the lens. It's probably because I stink, but anyway, I'm just curious if it's a nice peaceful town or if that's more of a party, like river rafter type of destination. The guy did tell me there's a swimming hole though, and I keep seeing people walk like in between that campsite, like on that hill down to the bottom. So let's go see if we could find that. I might actually dip my feet into that and bring my flip-flops. Dude, that's a great idea. All right, we're gonna follow this stream down to like kind of near my campground down there where I believe the swimming hole is that I've heard about. There you go. That looks like a swimming hole to me. It's not a bad trail. It's all this, I think it's called duff. The material that I know sequoias created. It makes like this soft, dusty layer, but here's where I gotta be really careful. So I don't got boots on or anything with good grip. These are my shower sandals for public showers. And I made it. Ah, bug in my ear. Bugs, bugs, bugs. I'm just curious how cold it is. We could step in here. Sure we can. All right, I'm gonna give you my reaction because oh my freaking God, that is cold. Holy moly, that is cold. How would you swim in that? Or do you just gotta get used to it? Let's get in deeper here. I gotta at least soak my feet. They're so filthy. You know, this is a beautiful swimming hole. I don't know how deep it is. I can't see the bottom from here. But I bet you, now that I'm standing in it, I'm acclimating to it. And it's doable, I think, but the sun needs to be out. There's no way I'm going out this late in the day. I'd be freezing. But yesterday at Joshua Tree, I could have used this. So some of you comment every once in a while and you say you just like that casual campground life stuff. And this is one of those. It doesn't really require much to say about it. Doesn't my campsite look beautiful? It's all illuminated right now. That's a sight right there, isn't it? Sequoia and my tent. And by the way, when the campground host came here, he's like, you know, you can camp back in that spot. And I figured you could, but there was another girl here and her tent was like 5 feet away. So I thought I'd be nice and keep it apart, but then she left a day early, is what he said. I feel really good. I think that what I just had, enjoying this place and kind of kicking back this afternoon and not working until bedtime, has been just what the doctor ordered. Yeah, I feel like just so much more calm and my mind is clear. At least for tonight. And then we got a busy day. I forgot to say, tomorrow morning when we get up and I leave, I actually am going on the job to a Camp View job. So maybe I'll take you along and just kind of document what I'm doing to show you how I roll on that or something. But or I might just not and just get that done. I have 3 campgrounds to film, and like an idiot, I had used Google Maps to plot the order to hit them all. But cell out here, I thought you get it intermittently, but boy, that might be a good thing to tell you. No cell, nothing for like a half an hour away, is what the guy said when I asked him. So I haven't even been able to check in with Amy this afternoon, and I bought Starlink so I can work on the road, but this is kind of a problem. I didn't even try it. Tell me if you think, I thought that patch of sky right there might be enough to get the job done, but I know it would probably certainly be intermittent signals, but it just seems like, I don't know, I probably should have just done it as a test, but I'm so tired I'm not unpacking that right now. Not that it's hard. What instead I'm gonna do is I've been charging up my Nintendo Switch. Part of the reason why I wanted to film was to buy some time, and I'm gonna just sit here quietly and enjoy this for myself. And then I am going to retire to my tent early, and I'm gonna play Amy, check this out, Stardew Valley with the stream right there in the background. How do you like me now? Why, good morning. It's early, and I'm one of the first up in the campground. Everybody's still sleeping. I like this river because it dampens the noise from me breaking down camp so I don't disturb people. And I'm ready to hit the road already. So I don't even know what time it is, probably in the 6 a.m. hour. But I wanted to get one last look at this campground with you. And unlike other campground episodes we do, well, this isn't really a campground episode, but other campgrounds we stay at, this is usually where I depart and say goodbye. But for us, it's just the beginning until we get to our next campground. Tonight at Kings Canyon. I just realized you could see our swimming hole right over there. Well, as much as I wish we were staying here for a few more nights, at least we know we're gonna see plenty of sequoia for the next couple days. So what I decided to do here on this episode is I'm gonna go make a beeline to my Camp View jobs. There's 3 campgrounds I have to scan. 2 of them, or probably one of them is about a half an hour from here. So I'm not gonna film on this until I get the first 2 done. Then we have a long drive to get to the next campground, which is very close to our destination. So we'll pick up later this morning after Glenn goes to work. And we're back with our little day trip travel. I just finished filming it, doing a campground drive-through at Wishon Campground. It's like right there around the corner. Sequoia National Forest will be featured on our Camp View video, but now I think we got a couple hours to get to the last of my Sequoia National Forest campgrounds that I wanted to film today before I enter Kings Canyon and set up camp there. So I think, sorry, there's more bugs. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rearrange my GoPro setup, and then we'll set it up for me in the car, and I'll chat with you as we drive down the mountain here. There's not much to see right here. You can hear a river, a stream. I don't know if that's Tule River. It's like a powerhouse down the ways here, but anyway, I'm gonna show you some of this drive. I've already come down miles of these Sierra Nevada mountains, and we still got a ways to go, and the views are spectacular. So I'll share some of that with you. But for now, let me give you some behind the scenes of what I'm up to. Most of you would know the workhorse of our channel, Slim, my off-road Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. I wanted to show you though my little setup that I have to do these campground drive-throughs. I've got 3 GoPros right now on magnetic mounts. Those things are top notch. It's called Belknap. I bought them on Amazon, and this thing, it's hard to get them off. So I don't even bother tethering them, and I do some serious off-roading and they haven't budged. But that's essentially what I'm doing, is I'm running all 3 at the same time, and then I drive through a campground, and then when I edit, you got your front-facing view, and then when I drive past a campsite, if you've watched my campground drive-throughs, I'll switch to one of the views if the site's on that in my editing. And that's the secret sauce. So that's not the little creek that was by my campsite. I believe that's the Tule River, or creek. I don't know if it's a creek or river up here, but I'm assuming that's more of the Sierra Nevada snowmelt. Things are flowing really nicely as it's June the 21st, 22nd, something like that, of 2024. But anyway, let me do my gig. We'll be out of here in a couple minutes. Alrighty, so my plan here is we're gonna drive for a bit, and my next campground, I believe, is 2.5 hours away, but it's really like right on the border of, I think, Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon, so we're almost there by the time we get to that one. And that's another camp view campground drive-through I have to do. The last one, well, not the last one for today. I've got 2 of the national park campgrounds to do also. One of the ones that I am staying at, the one that you'll see it. We're not doing a campground, my usual thing there, but kind of like what I did with this first place I left. I'll show you some of it, and we'll end the video there. But this might be a long one. I don't know. I'm just going with the flow here. Everything's put up. I got everything off the roof, right? 1, 2, 3. Yes, we're good. We are good. I'll probably start rolling once we come out of this. Basically, I was taking, I think it's Mountain Highway 199. I started in Kernville and came up, went to Trail of 100 Giants. Didn't stop there, but I drove past it. And then eventually made my way to the campground you saw me staying in, where we started this morning. And I plotted routes through the mountains, not the most efficient routes to get to where I need to go, but all the routes that take me to the various campgrounds up here in these mountains. I don't know if you can catch any of the mountains in the view of the GoPro. They're so tall. And even driving down like this side of the mountain, I bet if I started at the top, it'll probably take over an hour, because the roads are so curvy and you have to go so slow. A lot of construction, a lot of there was a big fire a couple years ago by the Trail of 100 Giants, and there's lots of damage, so it looks like they're doing a lot of road work because of that. And boy, now that I saw the effects of that fire, it was extensive. It's sad. Burnt sequoia, and sequoias are very fire resistant, but there's only so much they can tolerate. Okay, I suspect we're about to have some of the views that I promised you coming down here. I almost wish I started filming way up where I came from, but there's still lots. Trust me. I mean, it's just, you think you know how big mountains are, and this isn't even the biggest part of the Sierra Nevada. We're kind of on the southern side. Like, started in Kernville, like I said. I don't know if that's considered the beginning of the Sierra. I think it is. Yeah, that's Wishon Road if you're going to this campground. It's a really curvy, seems sketch, but it's paved, I think, for most of the way, if not all the way. I mean, any car can get up there, but it's just a weird spot. And when you're coming down the way I came, it's an abrupt right turn, but almost like you have to do a 180 off of 199. And there's this weird wooden bridge here too. Listen to this. And right below me is a straight drop. What I think I'm gonna do is I'll drive here to the end of this Wishon Road, and I'm gonna shut up, and we'll just roll the top camera for you for a while and catch some of these views, and then I'm gonna seek out a cell signal so I can like at least plot my Google Maps route to the next place. We got several stops that we're gonna make. They're pretty quick, I think, but there's several and there's cool stuff. So I'm really excited. Stuff I've never even seen. I'm in unexplored territory for myself even right now. I've never been in this exact region. Oh my goodness, a full signal. Oh, I should pull over here really quick and take advantage of this to check in with Amy. I almost always try to squeeze off something saying I'm alive. And I talked to her last morning, but I haven't had a chance yet because, like I said, I have a Starlink, but I guess I could have set it up on the way down this morning, but it was just, I don't want to unpack it all that. Let me do some business with Amy, and then maybe we're getting closer to civilization. I'm able to plot a route to the campground we're going to. It's an hour and 52 minutes away, 73 miles, meaning we're probably heading way up into some mountains again. I know we are, to get up there. So we're probably going to do what I just did. We came down. We're probably going to have to go back up. We're not taking the more popular route into the park, I don't think. It's not the way Google would take you, but it's taking me the way we're going because I'm going to Esham Campground, the last of the Sequoia National Forest campgrounds that I'm going to visit today. Civilization. We got to the bottom of the mountains, or so it seems, and the scenery is kind of, the trees are thinning out. But I found a town called Springville. I was able to get ice. I got one of these Gator Light rapid rehydration drinks. Never had one of those. It's pretty tasty. And I talked to Amy, and I got gas. Did I say that? Nice, yes. So we are now stocked up, and the only thing I forgot to buy was water. Shoot, bottled water, or any water. But we should be able to find that with ease later. I've got a lot to last the day, but I meant to do that. All right, I made a turn off of that mountain road, and now we're on temporarily on another road, and I just decided to start rolling. Lots of beautiful farmland out here, and it's just an abrupt, different look. You wouldn't even know. I'm looking back the way I came, and it's like you can't really see over some of these foothills, and you wouldn't know the gigantic mountains right back behind me. Holy smoke. And it's just like I'm in a totally different world now out here. Looks like the world of Napoleon Dynamite to me. Just like that Idaho grassy hills kind of look. I assume we're officially, if I drove through Springville, are we officially on the western side of the Sierra? I'm trying to picture my mind starting in Kernville. I was kind of on the southeastern side where I started coming from Joshua Tree and then drove up. And then we're gonna eventually cut back and go up into them. But I'm assuming I've traversed the whole range essentially, haven't I, in a weird way? At least the southern portion? I'm not sure. Felt like it. It felt like I was kissing the clouds at one point. So we have made a little bit more distance, and now we're about 33 miles away from my destination. Still an hour away though. And we're heading right back into the Sierra again. I'm on Route 198, and I suspect, you know, I was right. We're gonna be heading up pretty steep. We're heading back into these grassland mountain foothill things again, and I'm sure it's gonna turn into pine forest. Saw a sign way back there, well, not way back there, a few miles back there, that said 24 miles to Sequoia National Forest, and this must be one of the routes in. The campground I want to visit's on that route, but I do not want to go into Sequoia today. I am going to be visiting, but I'm not going to be camping in there, mainly because my understanding is Sequoia out of the two places is the really busy, more touristy of the two places. I can't deal with it, man. I got to get in there early, insert myself, get the job done, and leave. Because one of these days I'm gonna have, my head's gonna explode. I try to be a patient guy, but it can, really crowded national parks can test the patience of anybody like no other thing. And that's ironic, because it should be the opposite. You should be in bliss the whole time, but maybe it's because I just go to so many and I'm getting worn down. Alright, I think I got the GoPros working. I'm stopped because I had to adjust them, and I had to make a couple different turns to get onto my route, and have been interrupted multiple times now by the GoPro acting like ridiculous. I'm telling you, this is one of those days. It just doesn't make sense. But now we should be on the route, no longer on the route to Sequoia, and rather we're now taking Dry Creek Drive is what I'm on. At least for now, for 17 miles until I get to road M453, and that should be taking us in the direction of Kings Canyon, not Sequoia. And thank God, because there was a lot of cars on that road driving there, and as soon as I turned off to go this way, there's nobody. So I think I chose wisely. Some of you must out there, the way I talk about it, must think that I really dislike people in general. And I would say, you know, it would be odd because of the nature of what we do here. That's not true. I think I've taken a very George Carlin-esque view of the world the older I get. And he's been interviewed before he passed, and you know, he said things like human beings are beautiful, like one-on-one, you know, in small groups. It's amazing, but once you start to clump it all together, think of like working in a corporate office or anything in life, politics, the larger the groups get, the uglier it gets, and the more self-serving, and the more people start to they think about themselves more. Even in the national parks, people, you know, rushing, and I've been in situations where there's busy parking lots, I'm making a right turn, and then someone's making a left turn, and then they cut me off because they want to get a better chance at getting a parking spot. It brings out the ugly in people, I find, when you have those situations. You see it in the national parks, you even can see it at Disneyland, amusement parks. It's people just turn into something different. But hang around a campfire with me, talk about interesting stuff, and it's the best thing ever. So that's just how I am, that's how I feel. And it's probably partially because my personality is, according to Myers-Briggs, is an introvert. And I typically, the reason why I think one of the most notable things is I do prefer the company of one or two people, and that's it. I do not like large groups. I'm starting to get a lot more hilly back here, a lot of steep hills, and you can see in front of you it's kind of sneaky how they just grow on you over every rise. It's like, here's another set of, I'm going to stop calling them hills now, I'm going to start calling them mountains, because I think they're passing the point of being a hill. What is that qualification anyway in life? What distinguishes a hill from a mountain? Is it an elevation? I don't think it is. Is it like over 3,000 feet of elevation, it's now a mountain? Like that thing right in front of me, I bet you that thing is, we'll say 500 feet. I could be totally wrong. Maybe 400 feet. Is it a mountain or is it a hill? Comment down below and let us know, because I really don't know that. I don't know where I am now. Well, I know where I am, but I don't know if I need to go back that way. I have a 2-bar signal on Verizon, yet I can't get Google Maps to work back here. So there's this town called Heartland right down here. So I'm just gonna go back down there, and I might have had to go back out the way I came anyway. So, but anyway, I filmed Wishin Campground, and on the way out, I saw something, well, on the way in, I saw something cool and filmed it on the way out using all 3 cameras for this episode. If you watch the campground drive-through on Camp View when it comes out, you'll see they were doing a prescribed burn in the campground and in that area. And when I drove in there earlier, that's what I captured with the GoPros on the roof when I left. I see burning, I see smoke, I don't see people anywhere. I'm like, oh my God, is there a wildfire? And I was like, my internet doesn't work. I guess I have Starlink, so I was starting to think, do I need to call 911 or something? And then I saw like a hotshot crew back in the distance. So that was a prescribed burn, intentional burn. That's what I kind of thought. I just saw one smoke plume and I was like, oh my God, it's starting like right now. And then I shortly after that saw the crew, but I guess they just do their thing and they let it smolder. I didn't know that, but they clear out enough of the stuff around it or burn it that I don't think there's a risk. But all throughout the forest, we're still smoldering piles of things that weren't really fully catching on fire. And I see there was one fire truck driving around making rounds, and other crews. So I think we're good, but I never knew that. I didn't know they just kind of let it, you know, smolder out like that. I thought they'd put it out completely, but if they burn everything around it, I mean, they even let it burn next to some of these trees. I may have seen a sequoia, and they're known for being very fire resistant because their bark is. So I'm guessing there's just not much risk for it, you know, going up in flames. Anywho, our next stop is the big ticket item, Kings Canyon, once I can figure out how the heck to get to it from here. I've just been filming, rolling the camera on top of my roof for a while, and we're getting way up there now. We came from somewhere way out there. You just see those rolling foothills and how high up we've come. About 5 minutes, or either 5 miles or 5 minutes away from hopefully the entrance gate to Kings Canyon. So we should be around the top of our ascent. It's very hazy out there. I wonder if some of that's just smoke from either fires or prescribed burns or what. You know, we were down there somewhere. I don't even know anymore where we are exactly. And another thing, it is hot. It is real. I didn't even look what the temperature was, but don't need no temperature gauge to know it's hot. Way up here, I thought it was gonna be nice and chilly, but it's gotta be in the 90s easily. Holy crap. I just needed to share that view with you. That's all. Let's get back in the car. We still got a few things to do. We made it. Here's the proof. I got the map. Kings Canyon and the little newspaper thing, and it was a really nice ranger actually, like a really good guy, whoever that was. I was just asking about my campground, Sunset Campground. I was like, I think it's up this way, so I did come in the entrance I was intending on. So somehow or another we figured it out. We got out of the maze of the Western Sierra. I had the air conditioner on high. I apologize if I had it on for a while like that, but I think what I'm gonna do is kind of go out of order for what I was planning on doing actually, and make a beeline for the campground. It's about 2 o'clock, so my campsite should be free at this point. I'm gonna set up camp, and then we have hours to do the other things that I wanted to do. So I'm I think I'm right on schedule, actually, pretty much for what I had planned today, and I hit everything. So I actually did more than I was planning on. So very pleased with how this is going, but I want to get out on foot and show you some cool stuff before we end this video. All right, we are in. I like when they have a gate to the campground like that and there's somebody manning it, because then you have confidence that the reservation system worked and all that. So he did. All we really talked about, he said it is a bear area, so have I camped in there before? I'm like, oh yeah. So we had a cool conversation. I was telling him about some of my stories, and what my question really was this. I brought freeze-dried, like sealed hiker meals, dehydrated meals I should say, that are sealed, and not anything that I would assume would attract bear by scent. So I said, hey, do I need to put that in the bear locker? I don't care about putting it in the bear locker, that's fine. He's like, yeah, it's not just about that. It's like they know humans have goodies, so they'll be curious and investigate. But he did say this campground, there's bigger campgrounds, Lodgepole I think is one of them, in Cedar Grove, and he said that's where he personally thinks bears are worse. They're not too bad here, but I told him about my experiences in Lake Tahoe, and he basically said, the bear, I said, should I clap? Should I bang on pans? Because some bears get acclimated to that stuff. And he said, oh, they're pretty scaredy bears here, so they'll usually run away. And there's my site, I think site 53. And it looks like it'll be fine, except, yeah, it's kind of tight for Slim to park here. I might have to park kind of like this. Very close to my neighbor, and across the street, but it's possible that nobody's booked these sites. So hopefully, if I do have neighbors, they're cool. But once again, going online did not really reveal to me the spacing of the sites, and that's where Camp View is hopefully going to solve that problem for people, so that when you arrive, if I had a better choice of a site and I knew it, I would have picked it. But the trade-off is I got some good views over here too. So overall, I'm happy. I think this is going to be an awesome time. All right, let's go survey the campground. Here we are, everybody. Sunset Campground in Kings Canyon National Park, right next to Sequoia National Park. And this is my neighbor across the street, Site 54. I'm just going to steal Site 54's view for a second. To show you, like, in this campground, kind of what we're looking at here. This campground, I would say already I like it, but I'm gonna start off with a couple of my frustrations from the campground selection process, so I can convince you guys that Camp View is gonna be the you-know-what when it comes to this, but then we're gonna have fun. So this is basically like the premise of Camp View, and exactly why I want to try to help here. So I did a lot of research. I'm kind of remembering now in Site 53, my criteria for a good campsite typically are, is it level? Because you'd be surprised, especially in national park campgrounds. Like, look at this. It's like, these are not level sites. So I read a lot of the recreation.gov reviews, because sometimes you won't find out unless you look at those carefully. And then the privacy factor. So I think clearly I chose one that was level. So good on me. But you know, the privacy thing, it's a crapshoot. You're taking a chance, and here's why. So my site, and then the neighbor is literally right there. So I'm gonna probably have to put my tent like right here, because there's really no room anywhere else. And now imagine you got a bunch of drinking people hanging out here just being loud all night, or kids playing and all this kind of stuff. I mean, why do they have to do it like this? I don't understand that. This should be one site, not two over here. But I'm gonna turn around and just show you. There I am. Now I do have my own water spigot, which is hopefully mine and not shared with all these people, which it might be, because then people might just literally walk. Like, I was gonna say, oh, I'll set my tent up right there, but now I'm wondering it's probably a bad idea if people are coming to use the water in my campsite. But anyway, let me show you something. I'm gonna show you quite simply how still photography It's not just recreation.gov, there are other sites. It doesn't work well, and here's why. So basically, when you go to recreation.gov and other certain websites to figure out if it's a good campsite or not, here's what you're looking at. This is your view. You tell me. Looks like a pretty good campsite, right? But where's the views like over here? Right? It doesn't exist half the time. So that's right there, in essence, the problem that I'm trying to solve is how do you scout that out and do something better than just these still photos that can make any campsite look awesome and private. Now, with all that being said, there's some hugely, immensely awesome aspects of this site that I couldn't be more delighted with. And the biggest one is, look how much sky I have for hopefully Starlink to work very well up here, as I'm here for 3 nights. And I can have internet, I can work on editing videos and do what I need to do, as opposed to how it's been the last few days, because in Joshua Tree it was just insanely hot. I wasn't gonna sit out there and no shade and sit there and work on my laptop, but here I got some shade, I got some sky. Maybe these people won't show up, and if they do, maybe they're quiet. So lots of possibilities here. So I'm trying to figure out too, like, could I use some of this ground back here to pitch a tent, but now I'm on a hill, and while it would be way more private back here, I don't even know if this is still considered my campsite. I don't know if there are rules around that, but I really do think this is my most logical place, and I'm so hesitant to do it. I'm really disappointed by that. That's the buzzkill. All right, give me a few. I'm gonna set my tent up. Still thinking about it. And then I'll show you what I did, and then we're gonna go seek out one of the things that I already passed on the way in that I wanted to show you, and we'll go check it out. We started getting a couple sprinkles all of a sudden, so it looks like there's some weather blowing up around here, but it hasn't rained. It looks like it might be blowing, I'm guessing, north from here. I wasn't expecting rain, but let me show you what I decided to do with the tent here in my site. Ooh, I forgot to zip up the door. I want bugs to get in there, but I guess you can get a look. Shown this to you before, but my quarters for 3 nights here, and then in other campgrounds after this, pretty much my standard setup. And then you can see in relation to the campground behind me where my tent is, so just crossing my fingers nobody shows up and it remains quiet, but over the course of 3 days that's probably unlikely. So now I'm actually gonna sit down, get on my phone, take a break for a little bit, then we're gonna go drive to the thing I passed to make a beeline for the campground, and it might be the last thing I'm gonna show you, but it might be the coolest thing that I'm gonna show you. Well, there's been a storm blowing and I've been monitoring it. It just kind of materialized out of nowhere. I get really sporadic internet on my phone, and tried to see a radar and really didn't, but talked to Amy, checked in, and she said it was moving northeast of me, but getting slight sprinkles here, and I started to hear more thunder, but you know what? I gotta go do our last thing, so we're just gonna go do it. We are gonna get her done, rain or not, because I don't think there's a ton of walking to do what I wanna do, so we'll scope it out. Well, it's starting to rain, huh? I have a plan B. So, and I tell you what, I'll just tell you what I'm seeking out at this point. Right by the entrance here at Kings Canyon is something called like the Mark Twain stump, I think. Or there's a big stump or stumps of sequoia that were chopped down like back in the olden days, and the stumps are still there, and I think you can like walk up on one and just, it's a good way to judge the size, you know, of these things. And videos in the upcoming days are going to be featuring, I'm going to have one featuring Kings Canyon and one featuring sequoia. So we have a lot to do in a couple of days, but we will get it done. But that's what I wanted to do, but it's just like now everything's just becoming overcast and gray. So the forecast said, when Amy looked at it, rain ending at 3:45 p.m. It's now 3:53 and it's getting worse. So that's the weather for you. I like Bob Dylan's lyric, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blow. And that's so true, I find. The weather is for sometimes doesn't mean a thing. There's the big stump picnic area. It's like right after the entrance too. There's nobody at. There's a few people at the big stump. Which might make my little selfie taking less enjoyable, but we're gonna power through it. Let's go look at, we'll go look at the map together. And if it's too long of a walk and I don't wanna risk it and people are putting on raincoats and stuff, I'm gonna maybe take you to my plan B, which is still, I think, hopefully a fitting part of our journey. All right, so what I was really looking for is something called the Mark Twain stump. But there's a stump about a third of a mile in. I was talking to some people because I'm like rushing, didn't bring a map, I'm like going for it. There's a giant sequoia here, way bigger than the one on the campground, or any of the ones in the campground. Check that out. I don't know, I don't think that the girth is the best word I come up with for that comes out here. Maybe on the way back I'll stand in front of it and give you the scale, but for now, let's race the potential weather hazard. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's next level thick. That seems bigger. Look at that. That is like even thicker than a regular pine tree, that whole branch out there. These things freak me out. Really, it's just unnatural. But here it is. I don't know if I've ever seen a sequoia without like any burning on the inside, because they can tolerate it and they can live for thousands of years. So with all the chances of fires happening, you know, in those years, it will happen, but you can see they persist, mainly because their bark is so fire resistant. We'll study that closely later. And I feel a couple minor sprinkles, and I think maybe if something happens, I can hide out under pine trees and wait it out and stay dry. This is why I'm taking a chance, and I didn't bring anything to put this in, which is dumb. Actually, I hear the rain coming. You guys need to understand all I do for you. The stupid risks I take when I'm in a rush. All right, I'm out. That's a very loud thunderclap. Up ahead, so I'm gonna put this camera away. I don't want to be holding an electronic and have some freaky shit happen. I opted to run up a hill. I got down pretty far, I was probably close. Heard that thunderclap, my intuition said nope, and I got back here just in time. The rain has come. So I'm gonna go head back to the campsite. Well, you know what? What's the point? To be honest, tent to set up. It's just we'll get muddy around it. And I have another tarp I could put like in the awning area. So I guess the theme of this day is, maybe this is the more real side of the Cactus Atlas. You saw me break down a camp, even though I didn't film it, and then set up a camp, and now I'm running around like a crazy guy. All right, I took the GoPro off the roof, even though it's, which way did I go? I think it's this way. Even though it's waterproof, the magnet's up there and stuff, and I don't really know what the magnet's made for. So the intent of taking you down to see the big stump is I thought that's all we were gonna see are big cut stumps and not really the full deal like we saw that gigantic one over there. And I was really just trying to whet the appetite to want to see more of the sequoia without giving away all the goods. So the fact that I was walking down the trail there and saw that one, I guess that took care of the job. So weather delay or not, I'd say weather cancellation. I still think in a way I accomplished my goal. So now I'm thinking maybe the best course of action is to go to the campground, because if it's gonna pour, I could be proactive maybe and lay some tarp down. I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then we'll see what the condition is up there, and we'll probably say our goodbyes for this week. Hang out for a minute or two, because who knows what disasters might await. All right, so everything's cool. There was no downpour here. You can actually see the difference between when there's no pines to even just the smallest amount. Seems to help. Just look how dry, this is dry as a bone, like right here. So I maybe should have had faith and just stayed in the woods earlier. I feel a break coming, you know, certainly from this direction, but it really seems to be over here now. So it went from being in front of me, and now this is clearing out towards, I guess, Fresno. But go get our view again here. Well, did I show you guys this view yet? I don't remember if I did. I don't know if I did. This view from the campsites here in the Thunder. There's a really good example of campsites on some crazy slopes. That's no bueno, man. That's not even worthy. I'm still wondering, I asked this question on a different episode, how hard would it be, even with a shovel, to try to create like a level tent pad, like in these spots at national park campgrounds where it's not level like that. I'm just curious if anybody has any estimates. Throw out numbers, like this is like over 100 sites. Let's say there's 100 sites. What do you think the cost would be to build a tent pad? I would suspect you would need to level the ground out. You would need to build like the frame and then fill it in with dirt or whatever material is ideal. So that times 100, and imagine maybe like a 10 by 10 foot. That's what I'm curious about, is what do you think the cost of leveling 10 by 10, framing it and dumping dirt, how much would that cost the National Park Service? I mean, I guess I don't know, they make money, so how much would that cost them? And when I go to the visitor center, they're not doing stuff like that. And why are they selling like $30 t-shirts? It's probably more than that now. These are the things in life that I wonder about. The things that go through my mind all day long as I'm driving long distances. Well, folks, I'm almost out of room on this memory card, so that's a sign that I've talked enough. And now it's time for me to do as the kids say today, it's time for me to treat yourself or treat myself. You know the saying, treat yourself. I'm gonna treat myself to a shower if they have it, and some real food. I think I earned it this many days into this crazy adventure, and many more to go. So thanks for watching this one. Hope it didn't suck, and I'll see you next time.